Back with me, Theron Johnson and Tim Miller. A couple of moments when Kamala Harris came off the plane that I want to talk about. And Tim, let me start with who was greeting her there. Governor Evers, who, look, when all these Democratic governors came out, yes, it was an endorsement. But as somebody who was on the ground in a presidential campaign, you know better than anybody the infrastructure that somebody who has run a statewide campaign, the information, the voter knowledge that they have from being successful in their state. Why does this picture matter?
Yeah. Well, a couple of things on that picture. One, to the infrastructure question first. The Democrats have this benefit of having three governors in those three key blue wall states: Evers, Whitmer, and Shapiro. Whitmer and Shapiro are on the VP shortlist, obviously, regardless of whether they end up being chosen. All three of them are going to be absolutely crucial allies to Kamala Harris in this campaign, and I think helps her in this transition in the shorter timeline, knowing you have three governors in those states. You also do in Arizona, that you do not in Georgia. And so I think that's going to be really important. The other thing about that image, though, if you just look at it on the screen there, is just visually the contrast. Politics is a lot about just images, right? And a lot about what people think about their country. It is wrapped up in identity in a lot of ways. And to have her there greeting those young girls as potentially the first woman president, as somebody that's youthful and vigorous and ready to run a campaign, she almost doesn't even have to say anything. And she is delivering a more compelling contrast against Donald Trump than the Democrats have delivered for years now, since his third campaign started. And so I think that's very powerful and cannot be underappreciated. And I think that a lot of the commentary around moving off of Biden onto Harris or someone else kind of missed just how powerful this transition would be. And I think that's going to reverberate throughout the electorate.
We also shouldn't miss, Theron, that amid all of this kumbaya and joy and relief that we're feeling from the Democratic Party, there's a campaign ahead. It is going to be a tough campaign. Nobody I'm talking to thinks this is going to be a cakewalk for Kamala Harris or any of the Democrats who are on the ballot. But again, to the image point that Tim was making, and when you look at her with those two little girls, I mean, there's so many things that go through your head. One is a caricature of Kamala Harris has been painted by the other side, some might argue somewhat successfully. She, in spite of being vice president, isn't widely known to a wide swath of the electorate. But she would be groundbreaking. She already is groundbreaking. What do you see when you see this picture?
Well, Chris, you mentioned it before we had to go to the two leaders, Schumer and Jeffries, to hear their press conference. What I'm watching right now is a black woman talking to two young black girls with a wife and a mother and a husband who is now even more motivated to get behind this vice president. Those two little girls, those little black girls that you see in this image, will never forget this moment. And as a father of two young boys, I look for the day when Kamala Harris comes back to Atlanta. And as you know, Chris, she spent a lot of time in Georgia. And while we don't have a Democratic governor, we still are a battleground state that delivered for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in 2020. So now what she's got to do is take this sort of compassion that you're looking at right now. And that's who she's been, Chris. Let me just say this. I've met the vice president now for maybe 3 or 4 times in Atlanta and in D.C. And every house that I've gone to, every fundraiser, every rally, whether it was over with my good friend Ryan Wilson at the gathering spot, she's always taken time to talk to the kids and the young people. And she always asks you, how are you doing? How is your family doing? And so this is the Kamala Harris that we all knew back when she was an attorney general, when she became a U.S. senator, and she became a presidential candidate. Now, moving forward in the campaign, and that's what you asked me, Chris, we're a little over 100 days left. The first thing that she did, which was very smart, she went to the campaign headquarters. And as someone who was in the Obama re-election headquarters in Chicago in 2012, when the candidate comes to the office and takes time out to talk to the staffers, not just the senior staffers, but those young people, many of our future stars in Democratic politics, to say thank you and to keep them motivated and let them know, hey, me and Joe Biden, we're still united. Everyone finished the drill. Yes, it's been a little bit of a crazy 48 hours, but you all have a job to do, and that is beat Donald Trump. Now you see her in the battleground state of Wisconsin. She's there today, and I think the message that you're going to hear is going to be a little different than what we've heard from her before because she's the candidate. The next thing that she's got to do, what she's doing, is that she's now raising an enormous amount of money. And what is she going to be able to do with that money? Well, she's going to have to first reintroduce herself to the American people as a presidential candidate. We've known who she has been as a vice president. She's been there shoulder to shoulder with Joe Biden and leading this White House and this amazing record that he's been able to deliver. So now she's got to make sure that she gets out on the offense, use this money wisely, spend it with consultants in battleground states that know what they're doing, keep your current team in place, but she also can expand the team, and she got to expand the electorate. And so that's when you start hearing the other states that were sort of not in play before that are not now in play, that means that they're looking at the best way to get to 270 electoral votes. And then the last thing is that while the money is important, she's battle tested. She's a former prosecutor. She's a former attorney general, a current vice president of the United States. She is battle tested, and she's strong, and she's defiant. I can't tell you, Chris, how many women have, we've heard all the noise about and all the chatter about these women getting on this conference call. I think it was upwards to 40,000 people.
I think 44? Yeah,
44,000. Last night, I was on a call with predominantly black men, over 20,000, and we raised $2 million for Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign. And so the base is fired up. She also knows that she's got to make sure that she doesn't forget about the independents and the moderates. And so it's a base plus strategy. Keep the base fired up, keep the base unified, go into the convention. But the polling and the focus groups will show that there's a pathway to grow the middle class, to make sure that independent voters who are terrified of Donald Trump, they don't want Donald Trump. They just want somebody that they know that can beat him. And she's going to make that case to the American people. And you will see a campaign that's going to be full of energy, that's going to be full of her being on the offense. And when the attacks come, because they will come, and they're going to come from super PACs and from the Trump campaign directly, this woman, along with whoever she selects as vice president, will be ready for the moment.
A transformational race, without a doubt. Tim Miller, Theron Johnson, I look forward to talking to you as the next 100+ days go on. Thank you.